JDev is back at it here to give everyone another Walking Dead Season 7 episode review video. But before I continue with that, it's extremely important if you're not caught up to the point where I am in rewatching or watching The Walking Dead that you take the initiative and pay attention to the episode title, which of course I'll put in the description for you. If that's the case and you find out that you're not caught up, it's suggested, and I suggest, and everybody else does too, that you don't watch this episode any further to avoid any potential spoilers. This will be The Walking Dead Season 7, Episode number 7. Title of this episode is called Sing Me a Song. This will be my review, reaction, recap of the episode, which I've seen a few times. Just reviewing it to have it reviewed on my channel, and reviewing it because they announced that Season 11 of The Walking Dead is going to be the final season of the main Walking Dead show. You have Michonne walking down a single-lane road, whistling to attract walkers. She kills two walkers she's lured in and drags their bodies away. Separately, you have Carl and Jesus have gotten aboard the same Savior's truck that was going back to the sanctuary. And Carl actually tricks Jesus into getting out of the truck because Jesus wanted to get off the truck by like jumping out and rolling on pavement. And he's like, well, you do it first. And Jesus does. And then Carl kind of waves goodbye like, adios. So it eventually pulls into the sanctuary's yard where Carl sees Negan, several saviors, and his friend Daryl, who Negan, of course, has gotten, is essentially holding as a prisoner. Carl attempts to shoot Negan, killing two of the saviors before he is pinned down by Dwighty Boy, as Negan likes to call Dwight. Negan is impressed with the fact that Carl has a lot of bravery and escorts him around this factory floor and then introduces him to his hive of wives that he has, because Negan has like a wife for every day of the week. It's not that many. I think it's 5 wives, 4 wives. I don't know what it is. And then Sherry reluctantly, Dwight's wife Sherry, of course, reluctantly concedes to Negan that one of his other wives, Amber, has been cheating on him with her ex-boyfriend Mark. In response, Negan admonishes Amber and tells Dwight, and with Daryl in tow, to fire up that furnace because he's about to get branded. I think. Anyway, alone with Carl, Negan tells the boy he is trying to bond with him and asks him to remove his bandages so he can look at and touch Carl's missing eye, coercing Carl by reminding him that he killed 2 of his men. And then after Carl does remove his bandages, he actually becomes humiliated and starts actually crying. And then Negan's like, whoa, 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 and just backs off. And as part of paying off his debt to him, Negan asks Carl to sing to him. Yes, Negan's asking Carl to sing to him because of the fact that he killed 2 men. And then Carl weakly sings, "You Are My Sunshine" to Negan. And of course, this leads to Carl explaining how he had to shoot his mother to prevent her from turning. And then Negan takes Carl with him to see Mark's punishment, having half his face branded with a hot iron. That's Mark's punishment. And then elsewhere, you have the survivors of Alexandria who are preparing for the Savior's next visit, where they want half their shit, or more probably. And we have Rick and Aaron, part of one team, searching for supplies. And they actually discover a houseboat adrift on a lake nearby, seemingly loaded with supplies, but the lake is filled with numerous walkers. So it's going to take some talent to get to that houseboat. They plot how they will get to the boat. Nearby, Father Gabriel and Spencer are actually driving along to seek supplies. Spencer bitterly complains about Rick's leadership in the face of the Saviors and thinks he could definitely be a better leader himself. Now, Gabriel is just fed up with hearing that bullshit with Spencer and leaves the car to go on his own. And then we have Eugene and Rosita, who secretly meet in a nearby industrial machine shop where Eugene had found, where Rosita demands Eugene make a bullet for her to kill Negan. And this is the same machine shop that Eugene and Abraham were at in season 6. And now him and Rosita are there. And then Eugene initially refuses to make the bullet, believing Rosita's plan will not work. but she plays on how others have saved him several times because they feel sorry for him, and this would be the first useful thing that he has done. And then Eugene is hurt by the comments, but does proceed to make the bullet, though he refuses to listen to Rosita's apology, and they are picked up by Spencer and taken back to Alexandria. And then while the groups are out, Negan decides to take Carl back to Alexandria and sets off with a small group of men. Once Negan departs, Daryl finds a note slipped under his cell door that says, "Go now," with a key to a motorcycle. And then in another different scene, we have a lone savior driving down a road, and she's forced to stop when she reaches a barricade of walker corpses. As the savior investigates, Michonne sneaks up on her, katana drawn, and she says, "Take me to Negan." Michonne orders this savior, and the savior submits, having fallen into Michonne's trap. At Alexandria, with Rick absent, Negan decides to wait for Rick and has Carl show him around the home they occupy. And Negan, I think, is fascinated by the fact they have running water and just random stuff that they have at Alexandria. And Carl tries to keep Negan from entering Judith's bedroom, but is able to stop Negan from going in there. And Negan actually takes an immediate liking to Judith and later sits on the front porch with Judith, rocking her in his lap while he contemplates killing Rick and Carl and moving into Alexandria. And the last thing we see is Negan kissing Judith and giving like a face to her, like, and that's the end of the episode. So, you know, when I first initially watched this episode, it was okay, but it wasn't great. I actually really enjoyed this episode the second time around that I remember. It was highly entertaining, lots of good stuff thrown in here. A big development of Negan, like showing that he's not such a bad guy. That's how he operates in the zombie apocalypse. He kills people of other people's group to teach them a lesson, but he's really not that bad of a guy, and he gets along great with kids. And he's like, he's bonding with Carl. So as far as the score of the episode, I'm going to give it an 8.7. That's probably a lot higher than I would have gave it the first time I watched it, because I've only watched this episode twice. A lot of the episodes in season 7 and 8, I've only watched twice. Well, once, and I'll watch them again pretty soon here. So, character of the episode, I could give it to Negan, but I'm going to give it to Carl. Carl was pretty badass, trying to take out the saviors by himself. That takes some gigantic balls. And Carl, my friend, you had some gigantic balls in this episode. So, you've heard what I have to say. Now it's your turn. If you're a fan of The Walking Dead and you like this episode from season 7, Sing Me a Song, go ahead and smash that like button. If you know anybody else that would be interested in listening to this, go ahead and share it to them. Don't forget to leave me a comment with your thoughts on the episode, your score of the episode, your favorite moment of the episode, or you can talk to me about your favorite characters and least favorite characters, or favorite episodes or least favorite episodes. Anything you want to talk about, just leave it in the comment section. And last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button, subscribe to the channel, show your support, join the team, and be a part of something special. And JDev will return.